Hola, clase. Buenos dias or buenas tardes, depending on what time you have my clase. Um, I am obviously not here today, but you have a chapter test coming up tomorrow, chapter 1. Think about what we have learned. We have learned basic greetings. We have learned formal versus informal. We have learned, um, let's see, we've learned numbers. We've learned the alphabet. I will tell you the alphabet is not on there, so you can breathe easy on that. But you are going to need to know how to spell your name after the test tomorrow, because we will be talking about how to make your portfolio video. So that is coming up, but that's something you can use your notes for. So nothing to worry about there. But I did want to give you guys, since I'm not there, a quick review of what to expect on the test tomorrow. So there are going to be 30 questions, and they are multiple choice. So that should be very good news. After that, though, there is a writing section. There's a writing section on every test that we will have. So let me get you through the multiple choice. It should go very well. Get out those flashcards, use them the way that I was showing you with the stacks of the ones you know and you don't know. But it being multiple choice means that really you can go from Spanish to English and do just fine. So here's what we got. There are going to be 5 questions on numbers. It will look like this. So it will have a number on there and A, B, C, or D. Now, I am not going to write the word. I want you to think about it for a second. Do you know the Spanish word for 27? Think about it. Well, if you don't know, it is 27. But you would pick the one that is 27. If you knew 27 without me telling you, then you are super ready for this section. Make sure that you're good. If you can find it, you're great. So that is the first 5 questions, numbers, matching up a word with a numeral. The second 5 questions is going to be on greetings. And so it's going to have some kind of greeting, whether it's a question or a phrase, and you're going to pick A, B, C, or D. What is the best response to that? So those 5 questions will be something like this. And again, multiple choice. So it says, Buenos dias, Paco. ¿Cómo estás? Think about what that means. Buenos dias is good morning, and then it's named Paco. ¿Cómo estás is how are you? So the question here is how are you? He also said good morning. Anything that would make sense in response to that would be a correct answer. You would not want something like, Me llamo Paco, because that would be saying, good morning, Paco, how are you? My name is Paco. So that does not work. But he could respond, Hola, estoy bien, ¿y tú? Or even just bien, anything that would make sense in response to good morning, how are you? So again, flashcards, work on your greetings vocab. The third section is again going to be 5 questions, and this one is tú versus usted. So on this one, it might say, a friend of your father. Is that tú or usted? So you are picking either tú or usted. A friend of your father, would you call him tú or usted? Tú is informal, meaning you're on a first name basis. Usted is formal. You are not on a first name basis. Usually if it's a friend of your father, that's a pretty close relationship. We'll go with informal here. I can see how that one would be a little bit iffy. But I'm going to go with informal, and so I would circle tú for that one because I'm calling him by his first name. Now, some easier examples would be like, Your boss. You want to be really respectful to your boss. I'm going to be really respectful to my boss. I'm going to call him usted. Another one would be maybe your little brother. Your little brother, definitely on a first name basis. You're not calling him Mr. Bobby. You're just calling him Bobby. So that would be two. So remember, first name basis, you call them two for you. If you call them Mr., Mrs., Professor, Doctor, anything like that that's a last name, or if they are a stranger, then you're going to call them usted. So 5 questions on that. Then there are going to be 5 more questions where it's going to give you some kind of vocabulary that we've learned, the introductory vocabulary, greetings and things like that. And you're going to decide if that is formal or informal. So an example of that, it may just say, ¿Cómo estás? And you got a 50-50 shot here, but you pick either formal or informal. So remember, ¿Cómo estás? That S makes a difference. I'm going to let you think about it. If it has an S on it, that is informal. ¿Cómo está? Or ¿Cómo está usted? That is formal. So look back through your notes in your interactive notebook. I don't remember exactly what page that was on. I'm going to guess page 4 or 5, but you've got the chart that shows who you're talking about, if it's formal or informal, the how are you questions, the hello statements. Check out that chart and make sure you know the difference between whether it is formal or informal. So we've gotten through 20 questions. The next 5 that will get you 21 through 25 is a reading section. Now, I'm not going to write an example for this one. I'm just going to tell you about it. But this one is going to be a conversation between 2 people, and then it's going to have 5 true-false statements afterwards. So let's say person A says, hey, how are you today? Person B says, I'm okay. How are you? Person A says, I'm really good, thanks. It's going to be awkward because we only know so much vocabulary. Maybe finally they get around to saying their names. So maybe person A says, what is your name? Person B says, my name is Jose. And then he says, and you, what is your name? Person A says, my name is Cindy. And then person B says, nice to meet you. Person A says, nice to meet you back. So then just it goes on and on. It will be from the vocabulary on your vocab list. Now, if you've lost your vocab list, go into the ebook, and there is a vocab list on there. It is toward the bottom of your table of contents, but it is in there. You also should have some flashcards in there to go with it. And just make sure that you're familiar enough with those. The true-false sentences may be something like, person A is doing really, really well. True or false? Person B's name is Jose. True or false? So it's just something like that. So that gets you through 25. The last 5 questions are going to be a listening section. For this, you may want to bring your earbuds. Otherwise, I will have some lovely headphones for you to borrow from me. They're just beautiful, and you're going to want to take a selfie because you're going to look awesome. But for those 5 questions, it's going to be listening. It's going to be numbers. You just hit the play button, and you pick out of, I believe it's 5 options, which numbers did they say. So it might say, okay, number 26, 2, 25, 30, 13, 15. And you can listen to it as many times as you want to because it's on your computer. I won't be playing it on mine at all. So then you just pick, okay, was that, I don't even remember what I said, 2, 25, 30, 12, 15, if that's what I said, I don't know. Or was that 30, 17, 8, 12, 0? And so it'll give you like 5 options. You pick out which one was the numbers. So take a look at page 6 in your interactive notebook. You've got all the numbers in there. Remember, 16 through 19, you're saying 10 plus 6, 10 y 6, 10 y 7, 10 y 8. And that becomes one word, 16, 17, 18. And then the 20s really have the same basic thing. 20 is 20. For 21, you're saying 20 plus 1. So 21, 22. So you've got that pattern. The hardest ones for most people are 11 through 15. Remember, they all end in CE. So 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15 is 15. All of those ending in CE. Be really careful about dos, DOS, versus doce, DOCE. And tres, TRES, versus trece, TRECE. So spelling, actually, I don't think there is any spelling on that. So just know the difference in how they sound. Tres, trece, dos, doce. And you should be just fine. If you need a review on any of those, remember in your ebook, you can go to the vocab list. It's toward the bottom on your table of contents. You can click the little audio button next to any of the words and it will say it for you. Also, YouTube is your friend. If you type in Spanish numbers, there are a bajillion videos. Same thing for pretty much anything. So check that out. So that is the multiple choice part of the test. Let me tell you about the writing section. For this, you want to know your vocabulary, and please think about it ahead of time. If you are struggling in Spanish class and you're concerned that this is not going to work out for you, take a deep breath. Don't be your own worst enemy. And look at your vocabulary. I'm telling you ahead of time what you need to be able to do. On your test, it is going to tell you to write a conversation between two people. And it's going to say, you might want to write this down, it's going to say that each person needs to have a greeting. That means they need to say hello in one way or the other, whether it's hello, good morning, good afternoon, anything like that. Each person needs to say their name. So we've got 3 different ways that we learned how to say my name is. So you've got options there. Each person will say their name. Each person is going to need to say some form of nice to meet you. And then they also need to talk about how they are feeling, like how are you today? So basically what we're looking for here, in order to get 100%, you've got to include all of those things. So we're looking for hello, hi, what's your name? My name is, my name is, oh, well, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. How are you? It's kind of awkward. How are you? I'm good. And you? I'm okay. And then they can just awkwardly say goodbye if you want. So that's what you really need in there. Each person needs to say all of those things. Be really careful about that. I've got a little checklist on Voces for you to go through after you're done and say, okay, did I get both greetings? Did I get both of the names? Did I get everything in there? You also, for 100% out of 10 points, you're going to get 1 point for getting the formality right. So if you're calling each other by first names, you're going to be informal. If you're calling each other, or one person is calling the other person Mr. or Mrs., then you'll want to act accordingly and put both of them formal, or one formal and one informal, whichever way you want to do that. Probably the easiest thing to do is just go ahead and make them on a first name basis, and then you can just be informal. So that will get you 1 out of 10. The other 1 point out of 10 is going to be on punctuation and accents. So keep in mind, if you're asking a question, you need that upside down question mark at the beginning of it. If you're really excited to say hola, You got your exclamation point at the end, put the upside down one at the beginning. And just like it has been on your ebook, underneath where you're typing in, it's got options for you to click on accents and upside down punctuation and all that good stuff. Accent wise, A's on está and estás. I'm sure there's some others that we have learned. Look over that stuff. Be prepared ahead of time. That is why I'm making you this video. Check it out beforehand, especially if you're really, really nervous about it. If you're already really good with the vocab, you might want to spend a little more time with your flashcards just to make sure. On the multiple choice, that's where you can go from Spanish to English. So you see hola and you recognize, oh yeah, that means hello. For the writing section, that's where you want to flip it over and you want to go from English to Spanish. So you want to look at it and say, good morning. Okay, that was one of those buenos phrases. Buenos dias. Is that right? Yes, it is. So if you can do that, if you can go from English to Spanish, that's how you know you've really arrived on the being able to speak and write yourself. You can create it yourself. So I will see you guys tomorrow. This test is going to go very, very well. Just make sure that you are prepared for it. Bye, guys.